Okay, thanks for sticking with us. Back for episode 2 with Charlotte Walsh. We talked Charles River running. Now we're going to talk Dorothy's Flower Garden. And when we did the feature on you in the April issue of Westwood Living, you talked specifically about how flowers were such an important part of your life. And Dorothy is your mom, correct?
She's my grandmother.
She's your grandmother.
Yeah, my mom's mom. Yeah. So my mom's parents lived in Charlottesville, Virginia. They were entrepreneurs and real scrappy people. And I believe my grandfather was running a hardware store at the time, and a greenhouse in town went under. And his banker said, "Hey, there's this greenhouse that's going under. Are you interested? Do you want to buy it?" So he bought it, and that started the plant and flower phase of their lives. So they became greenhouse owners, growers, and then my grandmother, Dorothy, opened a floral shop in the downtown mall, which was the main street of Charlottesville, and it was called Valley View Florist. And yeah, that's where it all comes from.
Well, anybody who's a neighbor of yours benefits from how beautiful your yard is, because that is where your passion truly lies. And it's starting. So where are we at? We're here April 11th. So where do we stand in terms of you getting your garden ready for what is the busy season?
Right. So actually I started last August with the 2025 growing season. So there's a lot of plants out there. They're called hardy annuals, and an annual is a plant that dies and then grows back every year. You have to plant the seed though. So normally those plants are going to only survive in warm weather, but there's these things called cold hardy annuals that can actually survive through a winter if they're protected. So last August I planted 500 seeds inside my house, had them grow. By October I had planted them in the ground outside because I had ripped everything else out, covered them up with frost cloth and hoops, and babied them all winter long. And believe it or not, about 80% survived. I've also planted another 500 seedlings out there in March. So right now I have 5 beds completely filled with flowers that are just babies right now, but 14 different varieties, which are going to pop off here in May and June.
This is hours of work. I mean, weeks of work. Do you find joy and comfort in operating in this world? Do you get in your own zone when you do this?
Yeah. So I'm a learner. I love learning. And my dad was like that. He would just get on some jag. And then, one year he made me build a boat with him in the garage. It's just I think it's in our genes that we just find something that we're really interested in. And then we just read every book and learn as much as we can, and then we apply it. So cut flower farming has become that for me. So this is year 4. I'm fascinated with the growing process. I mean, the end result is this beautiful flower that you can't believe nature produced this, but the real magic is the tiny seed that you start with, and you just nurture it and talk to it and take care of it and say a little prayer when you plant it out in the ground, and watch the weather like a crazy person. And there's so many different parts to it that are in your control, and then a lot of parts are not, in your control to get to the end. So that's really interesting to me.
At what point did it become a bit commercial, where you said, you know what, I should sell these?
I don't know. I guess that's the entrepreneur in me, which is like, hey, this is a great product. Everyone needs flowers. Flowers are the beginning of your life, and flowers are the end of your life. Flowers are a necessity, and they're there. And I think my job is to help people realize that.
If anybody was here during the holidays, this is not solely seasonal, because one of the great things you do is dry out some of your flowers and create some really meaningful, best described art pieces that when we're in here shopping for shoes or some other accessory in December or around the holidays, you can pick that up. So have you always done that? Have you always had those? Or was that kind of new this year?
Yeah, that was new this year. I follow a lot of different accounts and different farmers and stuff like that. And, England is where the best flower farmers are. And they just create the most beautiful arrangements. And I started following some artists who create things out of dried flowers. So they're farming the flowers, they're harvesting, they're drying, and then they're creating these I have all these ideas for future things I want to do, but these masterpieces. And they grow gardens just to cut them and dry them. So it's a whole different way to look at a flower. Like, oh, is this a flower that looks beautiful and retains its color in its dried state? And then what can I create from that? So
yeah, there were a lot of really cool things. So hopefully that was a success for you in December. But how do you move these? Do you carve out a little spot here at Charles River Running, or if somebody wanted to poke around, do you have a website that people go check out to see?
I do. I just built a website. I taught myself how to do that in the dead of winter. I learned how to use Squarespace. So I created a website for Dorothy's Flower Garden. It's dorothysflowergarden.com. And really what my specialty is growing the flowers, making a market bouquet, which is a hand-tied bouquet, which is wrapped in paper. Then you bring it home and put it in your vase. And I sell subscriptions. So you can sign up for May and June, which are those 14 varieties that are in the ground right now of flowers, and you'll get 5 bouquets. You pick them up here at the store, and they're ready to go in your vase. And the pickup is on Friday or Saturday here at the store. And then you move into the hot season flowers. That's the July and August subscriptions. I'm also at the Norwood Farmers Market on Tuesdays from 2 to 6.
Oh, that's every Tuesday?
Yeah. And
okay,
that starts mid-June.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be there. And then I've done some, occasion things. Like I do some flowers for some of the restaurants in town here. And then last year, one of the sports teams from Westwood approached me, and I did flowers for the banquet.
Oh, that's great.
Bouquets for the athletes. And there's a lot of different occasions for flowers and reasons for flowers, but there doesn't really need to be an occasion. Fresh flowers in your house boost your mood.
I totally agree.
It's good for you.
Absolutely agree. Is there one, are roses stereotypically most popular? And do you view that as a challenge to sometimes maybe educate people like, hey, here's a different flower that might last longer or smell better, or give me a little bit of that insight?
Yeah, so what I didn't realize before I started my urban flower farm was that 80% of the flowers that you buy in the grocery store or that you receive in a bouquet from a florist come from out of the United States. So there are countries that are, have a big operation of cut flower farming. What makes local flower farming different is that it's seasonal. A lot of people don't have greenhouses. A lot of local flower farmers don't use pesticides and herbicides. We have, labor laws in this country, and they don't travel thousands of miles before they get to your bouquet. They haven't been on an airplane. They haven't been in a flower market. They haven't driven in a car. The carbon footprint of a local flower is much smaller. Plus, local flowers help the pollinators and all that good stuff. So do I have a favorite flower? I have so many favorite flowers, but a lot of the flowers you see at Trader Joe's and Costco are coming from far away.
I have a daughter named Dahlia.
Oh, beautiful.
So obviously we're attracted to dahlias, but from a scent perspective, lilies. I love them.
Oh,
you can literally put lilies on your table and walk away for 4 hours and walk back into your house, and it's like you walked into a little slice of heaven.
Yeah.
So that's my amateur tip for you if you have flowers to buy.
If you love lilies, and I grow lilies, you should try sweet peas. They come in June. They're fleeting, but the scent of a sweet pea is unbelievable. I'm going to bring some by. I'll bring some by sweet peas.
Appreciate that. What's the one that pops early in the season and they have a short life but a powerful life in terms of their scent?
Lilacs.
Yes.
There was a lilac hedge next to my house growing up in Wisconsin, and we would hear cars stop in the middle of the night, like outside of our house, and people were picking them under the cover of darkness. But they're so popular, and you're right, they have a very short season. They're beautiful. I love that smell.
Yeah, it picks you up. So dorothysflowergarden.com is where people go. Very simple. I haven't seen the website, so I'll check out the website myself. And of course, if you're watching this, the Slate has that website for you to check out. But if you can't remember dorothysflowergarden.com, you've got bigger issues. So I've appreciated both of these topics, talking about Charles River Running, talking about Dorothy's Flower Garden. I, of course, appreciate your support as a sponsor for what we do with Westwood Living. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.
Totally. And as the sun gets a little stronger and the temperatures rise, let's do some videos in the garden.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be very cool.
Let's get out there.
I've got a nice little wireless microphone where you could walk us through some of the things, and I can shoot you, and I think those will be kind of cool. So be on the lookout for that. Follow the Westwood Live Instagram account. And yours is Charles River Running on Instagram. Charlotte, again, always great. Every time she's got a video, she tags me, so I know that I could just share it. Anybody who's a sponsor, please do that. If you want me to share your stuff, just tag me. It's like the easiest way for me to be like, whoop, share it to story. That's how it works.
True.
But for those of you who listened to these 2 podcasts, I say thank you very much. That is Charlotte Walsh. I'm Tom Leyden, and we will check in with you next time right here on the Westwood Living Podcast Network.